Welcome to The Next Level, where we speak with Durham entrepreneurs. The Next Level explores what's next in business, public affairs, technology, education, and big ideas, and speaks to leading minds from Durham region, Canada, and around the world on what it takes to be the next big thing. Today, we are speaking with Greg Murphy, Executive Dean at Durham College and Chair of the Durham Region International Film Festival. We're going to introduce Greg to the owners of Durham Live, an impressive billion-dollar media and entertainment complex and production studio possibly poised to be the next Hollywood Silicon Valley hotspot for next-generation creative game changers.
Hi, I'm Greg Murphy. I'm the chair of the Durham Region International Film Festival and the Mad Dean at Durham College. It's a local film festival, and we like to think that we're not just recreating TIFF or hot dogs or something. We're doing something a little differently, and I really like what our program director calls it. He calls it changing the narrative. We understand that in a post-colonial world that there's been a dominant narrative that excluded other stories, other people's histories. We're doing our very small part to include people that in the past have not been at the center of the conversation. So that's what we mean by changing the narrative. We have a partnership with G.L. Roberts High School, and we bring equipment in, we send in filmmakers, and we show them films. So they actually get to look at films which aren't found in the mainstream theater venues, and then they make their own films. It's the way of getting permission to tell their own stories. Right now, we're doing drive-ins. It's in the Durham region parking lot. It's been sequestered off. It's a place where we can control the ambient lights, so we can turn the street lights, the parking lot lights off. People pick up the sound on their radios within their cars. They turn off their headlights. It's old school in that you're in a car and you're looking at a film. This is a small experience that not many people share. This is something that I think is important to Durham region. It makes it a better place to live and learn and work.
Greg, thanks for doing this, and it's great to be here for this wonderful outdoor festival for the Durham Region International Film Festival.
What we're really trying to do is to help people in Durham region understand what's going on outside of the mainstream sort of Cineplex type theaters. So, you know, those movies start to look the same. They have the same narratives, the same story, familiar, easy, lots of special effects. And we're trying to bring in people's stories. It's important for people to see the films, and it's important to encourage people to make those films. I think both are important.
It's a pretty interesting time for media these days. In your mind, what's really going on in media?
Well, I think there's probably 3 or 4 things that converge. One is that you have this instant access to media. People sometimes lose sight of the fact that these are extraordinary things that people put together, and that the effort required to put them together, the thinking, the heart that goes into them is so profound, and yet because we get them, you know, like that, we think that maybe making it is easy. It's not easy. What media has made accessible to us as consumers, interestingly, has also made the production of film, the production of stories in media, equally accessible. Now you can get a kid who doesn't need to have $200,000 for the equipment. You can have a laptop and a small camcorder, or even really your phone, and you can tell a story visually. I think that's remarkable. As
an industry or a business, how would you describe the climate right now? Is it a good time to be a filmmaker or a storyteller?
You know, I think that's an interesting question. I think it's a great question, because people often say to me, well, why would you have somebody go into TV, for instance? You know, TV's dead. People aren't watching TV. And I would say, well, yeah, they are actually. They're watching more TV than ever before. There's more video being uploaded to the internet and mounted on TV and shown on TV than ever before. You know, we're getting million+ videos a day being made. Why not make them good? You know, so I think it's a great time to get into video and do it well.
Durham region has a lot going on now in its developing of the apparatus to become an industry for media makers. Can you talk a little bit more about what's happening in Durham that makes it unique?
For a long time, there was no film or media development east of the Don Valley Parkway. And now we've got the Apostopoulos brothers. They've come in, Tribro Studios, fantastic for Durham region. We've got Durham College, which is, creating a film production floor. It's giving the basic skills for film and photographic production right in Durham region now. We've got this behemoth that's come in, this, very credible, film studio that's come in, and they're going to give a place for these young kids to go as they start to try to realize their ambitions and become filmmakers. There's a place for them to go right here where they can work.
How important do you think it is for young storytellers, media makers, filmmakers to be entrepreneurs?
Filmmakers and media, there's a fear of it because now there's no jobs. There's no place where you go and you work for 35 years. But that's always been true of doctors, accountants, lawyers, architects. They've always been compelled by their reputation, by the quality of their work. And I think that's now true of media production specialists. I think that now somebody can go into being a director of photography or an editor or a scriptwriter, and they can make a living because they're good, not because they work for a studio. Now you have to be good at what you do, and your reputation will carry you forward. Everybody will want you if you're good at what you do. I think it's like anything that you want to do. You got to do it hard and fast and a lot of it. Put in the mileage. Pick up whatever type of recording device that you can find, whether that's a camera or a camcorder or a phone, and start shooting things and think about what you're doing. Think about your intention of what you're doing. What are you trying to tell people? What is your story? And if you have a story to tell, people will listen to it. People will watch it.
So Greg, on that note, we're ready to take this to the next level, and we've set up a meeting with the owners of Tribro Studios to talk about the future of media in Durham region.
Love to meet them. Which of the Apostopoulos brothers am I meeting?
Peter.
Peter. Looking forward to it. I've seen Peter at social events before, but never really been able to get into a conversation about really what we both do.
Peter, it's great to see you. We're happy to have you with us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And tell us a little bit about where we are right now.
Right now we are in the Tribro Studios secret location that in the next few months will transform into new studio space for film and television production here in Durham region.
So as an entrepreneur yourself, you've done so much great work, you and your family, some transformative projects. Tell me why Durham region and why now? What's exciting and interesting to you about this place?
Durham is a prime setting for new development. North of the city has been really developed. South you can't go, and west has been really developed. The east really hasn't had that splash of development in many, many years, and as we progress in growing the development side of the industry, you'll see it's a really good growth opportunity.
And why do you think it's important to support a creative industry like this? Is there something about making film and television on a personal level that gets you motivated?
Well, yeah, I when as a young man I did some acting, and then I started producing some film and television projects. I really enjoyed it. It just it took a lot of time, and I wasn't ready to commit all of my time into that. But I was able to provide things like space for the film industry, and that's where I found that perfect space for me. We're in the real estate game. We're also getting into the film side of things. Now I'm able to provide, space for the film and television industry and watch shows, get created.
And do you have high hopes for sort of the future of the media sector in Durham region?
Oh, definitely. There's so much filming happening in Durham region that a lot of people aren't familiar with or understand. But having studio capabilities in the east end of the city and in Durham region really will help grow that side of the business.
So we're Hollywood Northeast, maybe.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Well, this is Greg Murphy, who's the Executive Dean from Durham College and also the Chair of DRIFT. It's a festival that you're familiar with, and I'm glad to introduce you guys.
Nice to see you,
Nice
Peter.
to see you as well.
Well, I'm so glad that Peter decided to open this studio, him and his brothers opened this studio in Durham region, because we're training up-and-coming filmmakers. So the next content creators, we're training them at Durham College, and it's going to be great if they've got a place to work and really get their chops here in Durham region.
What do you think is going to be next for the media sector? How do you see this next generation of talent reshaping kind of the way things are now?
Well, I think the first thing that we've got to do is we've got to make people aware that it's possible. So up till now, as Peter pointed out, there's been nothing available east of the Don Valley Parkway. So now with Durham Live here and Peter and his brothers opening up the film industry, a place for people to go, a place for professionals to work, you're going to see a lot more young people thinking, well, maybe I could do that. You're going to take them to the next level.
Well, I'm going to help. They're going to take themselves to the next level. I'm
Yeah,
going to
but
be a part of the
you're
journey.
making it available. You're making it
definitely.
possible
Thank
for
you.
them.
Why is something like Drift important to the apparatus that you just talked about for incubating new talent?
Well, it makes the audience aware. So on one end, we're introducing the next generation of content creators, and we're also starting to introduce the next audience. So we're trying to introduce them to film that might be made in Durham by people from Durham that has a Durham voice to it. So we're giving them maybe films that they don't see in a normal commercial venue. I mean, what we're doing is commercial. Don't get me wrong. It has a bottom line to it, but it's not the high end stuff that is found in every city.
How important is it to be an entrepreneur in the truest sense of the word in the film and media sector of today, or probably more important of tomorrow?
And a lot of filmmakers truly are entrepreneurs, but they're in the realm of the filmmaking, not so much in the realm of entrepreneurship. But especially when you're starting out and you don't have a lot of money, and you're learning to find ways to be creative with what you do have, making deals with locations and actors and lighting and rigging people, and saying, I can do this or we can do this, and you in essence become an entrepreneur by learning to find value in what it is that you're trying to make.
Maybe we need a cool nickname for the Durham region film industry or something that will happen.
We'll call it Durham Live.
Yeah, I love it. Sold.
I'm happy to be a very small player in this, and it's nice to really meet you and have a chance to chat with you.
Thank
It's
you
been a
very much.
pleasure.
And I wanted to say, Tribal Studios has been supporting people for many years in terms of locations, facilities, even production offices for a short period in between massive shows that are coming in and out. So if you need a studio space to produce something, or they want to get the feel of it, I want to invite you and your team and your class to come over to our facilities, tour them, use them if we have the space available, and we'll make it so that they get a first-hand feel of an actual film studio that's not at a school setting.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. That's a very generous offer, and it's one I'll follow up on.
Well, thank you, Peter, and that's how we take it to the next level.
Excellent.
Hence the name of the show. I thank you very much, and
Thank
it was
you.
great to chat with you today, and really special to share this vision with both of you of what we can all co-create together here in Durham region. So I'm excited.
Thank you, Paul. Appreciate it.
So Greg, we just came out of this meeting with Tribro Studios, some exciting times ahead for Durham region. I just want to get your thoughts on what just happened and your reaction.
What a great guy. I mean, those brothers are such an asset to Durham region. It's what we've been looking for, a place for our students to go and hone their craft. It's fantastic. I'm so happy. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Greg. Thank you for being on the show, and I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes.
Always a pleasure, Paul. Thank you for including me.
TikTok and Facebook have more power than most Hollywood studios and network news. The people have spoken. But with that much power, we must ask ourselves, what is our message? See you next time on The Next Level.